Okay, so what if I told you the best way to build a real estate empire had almost nothing to do with selling houses? Sounds crazy, right? But we're about to break down a blueprint that did exactly that, turning simple community connection into a massive business. It really is a masterclass in strategy, and it all kicks off with one pretty staggering number. $100 million. Yeah, you heard that right. That's the sales volume one single agent, Megan Sullivan, hit in just 1 year. That kind of figure puts her in the absolute top tier of real estate, and she did it in one of the toughest, most competitive luxury markets in the entire country. So, the big question is, how? How on earth did one agent build a business that huge, pretty much from the ground up, especially after a total career change? Well, that's the exact story we're going to unpack right now. All right, so to really get how she pulled this off, we've got to go back to the beginning. And what's so interesting is that her journey didn't start with open houses or anything you'd expect. Nope, it started on Wall Street and then took a massive turn, all thanks to motherhood. So, picture this. Megan's story starts in the super high-stakes world of New York finance. We're talking raising capital for hedge funds. But then she makes a big life change. She moves to Greenwich, Connecticut to start a family. And that becomes the pivot point. In 2017, she just hits the reset button, gets her real estate license, and from that moment on, her career just explodes. It's a total reinvention. So what was the first pillar of her whole strategy? Well, it's something you could call the mom network effect. And the craziest part? It wasn't even a business plan to begin with. Not at all. It was born from her trying to solve a really personal and honestly super relatable problem. See, when Megan moved to Greenwich, she was a new mom, and she felt completely lost. I mean, in her own words, she was like, I need to find a baby class, I need a doctor. There were no resources. She spotted this huge, gaping hole in her new community right away. So what did she do? She built the solution herself. She teamed up with a friend and they co-founded what started out as GreenwichMoms.com. It was this super local resource that just blew up, eventually growing into this nationwide platform called the Local Moms Network. It became the go-to spot for moms who needed info and a sense of community. Okay, and this is where you can really see the genius in her approach. Think about the steps. First, she spots a real pressing need in her community. Step 2, she builds a resource that people trust to solve that need. Because of that, she naturally becomes the go-to person for all local knowledge. And that final step, it was almost a given. All of that trust she built in the community, it just naturally converted into real estate clients. I mean, it's a total masterclass in authentic marketing. All right, that brings us to the second pillar of her success. We'll call it the off-market advantage. And this is where she so brilliantly connected her past life to her new career to create this incredibly powerful, unique niche for herself. She basically built a bridge from her past life right into her present one. She tapped into all those old Wall Street connections and became the expert for finance executives who are moving out to the suburbs. This carved out a special niche for her in private, off-market deals. And with that, she built this rock-solid reputation for being discreet and, most importantly, for getting results. And just how big a deal is that niche? Get this. A whopping 41% of all her deals are done completely off-market. That is nearly half of her business happening quietly behind the scenes. This isn't just some side hustle for her. It is a core pillar of her entire business. Her reputation in this space got so big, she actually became part of the local pop culture. I'm not kidding. A comedian, Johnny Hellbrantz, made this viral TikTok sketch about some guy buying a mansion in Greenwich, and in the video, he just casually name-drops Megan Sullivan as the agent handling the off-market deal. And the wildest part, she had never even met the guy. But that TikTok, it actually brought her real clients. And all of this leads us perfectly to her third and final pillar, which you could argue is the most powerful one of all, the power of referrals. This is the engine that fuels her entire $100 million business without her spending a single dime on traditional ads. Get ready for this number. An incredible 90% of her business comes from referrals. Let that sink in for a second. 90%. That means 9 out of every 10 clients she works with came to her because someone they trust told them to. That does not happen by accident. That is the outcome of a very, very smart strategy.
So how does she pull that off? Well, her method is all about deep community connections. It's about being the absolute expert on local schools, summer camps, you name it. It's about staying active in her circle, sports, clubs, all of it, and just providing unbelievable service. But what she doesn't do is maybe even more important. You won't see her paying for online leads, no cold calling, no generic junk mail. Her entire strategy is built on real, authentic connection, not just buying clients.
And look, she'll tell you this herself straight up. She says, your business is not going to thrive by paying for leads on Zillow or Realtor.com. I mean, that is a direct shot at what so many people think is the only way to do business in real estate today. So, if the business isn't coming from those paid leads, where does it come from? Well, in her words, it comes from the people that know you and surround you. It's so simple, right? When you do an amazing job for people, they become your biggest fans. They tell their friends, and then those friends tell their friends, and suddenly you've got this incredible, self-sustaining referral machine. It's so simple, but it's also so profound. Okay, so let's put it all together. We've seen the pieces, right? The mom network, the off-market niche, and the powerhouse referral engine. So what is the big takeaway from this whole $100 million blueprint? It really boils down to 3 simple, powerful ideas. Number 1, solve a real problem. Business always follows value. Number 2, master a niche. Become the one person everyone thinks of for that specific thing. And number 3, build real relationships. Because at the end of the day, trust is the best marketing you will ever have. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. And this applies to way more than just real estate. It's for any career. When you look at her blueprint, the real question to ask yourself isn't, how can I sell more stuff? The question is, what community are you uniquely positioned to serve?